What's in the box? I'm Jason Kanigan. Thanks for joining me on my photography journey, going through all this stuff that I have in my photo room in the lens area here on this hutch thing, and that has been repurposed for the amazing reason of storing these lenses. I come in every so often, pop through the boxes, which are here to keep them safe from fungus and haze and stuff developing. That's what the boxes are for. They create a sort of sealed chamber, and I've got silica gel in there to suck out all the moisture that I replace. So I got to come and look, and as you probably know, you don't use all your lenses all the time. So sometimes I look through here and I go, oh, I have that? Okay. So this is the last of the boxes though for now. So we're gonna have to wait until I build up a few more, I guess, before coming back to this series. So let's see what's in here. I think we're going back to the Sony manual stuff. And we are. Yes, we are. We've got 3 lenses in here and a some kind of, oh, I know what this is. Okay, this is a adapter ring, teleconverter. Yes, 2 times. It's probably for FD mount. And you know, I think this may have come along with that pack of stuff I got with the Canon 81 and the 250mm lenses in that, and the flash. Yeah, that I covered in probably the first episode. So we'll put that down there. Let's start with this. This is the kit lens on like the Canon 81 and that for a long time. This was a great kit lens. It is the Canon FD 50mm f1.8. So we've looked at, I'm just going to pop that out and get that here. We've looked at this sucker, which is its big brother, I guess, the f1.4. And you can, well, this has got the adapter on it, so I'm going to cover that up with my fingers. But that, you can see the difference, right? Something's going on in the f1.4 to get that extra level of light in there. That being said, there is nothing wrong with this lens. If you can get the f1.8 for a good price, and you should be able to, 50 bucks or less, this is a great little lens. Realistically, I mean, the elitist guy in me knows that the f1.4 is better, and I like that lens for a bunch of reasons, and I've taken a lot of pictures with it, so I'm really accustomed to it and I love it. I can't say for sure, because I haven't taken a ton of pictures with this lens, because I got that one, whether I would be able to tell the difference or not. I would still go with this. Optically it looks great. Apparently it's airplane season, so if you can get the f1.4 then I would recommend it, but there's nothing wrong with this f1.8. You know, it's not that much different. It's still a great low light aperture, and it'll still do a lot for you. This, before this slides off the table, we don't want that. This is a lens that is probably the second lens that I got. It's, again, these are all manual lenses, manual focusing. It's a Tamron Telemacro 28 to 70mm f3.5 to 4.5. And it's not bad. This doesn't have the adapter ring on. I've taken it off for another lens. But it's a simple 70, you know, 28 to 70mm lens. And I do not recommend this lens. It's not horrible, but it's not very sharp. It's not very sharp. I've got a graveyard nearby, a little private graveyard that's fenced off and gated off, and I was at the gate. You know, it's got a fence about 4 feet high, and I was taking pictures with my tripod with this thing at the headstones and that, and I was pretty disappointed with how they came out. I could have gotten much sharper images than this thing, so I would not get this Tamron 28 to 70 f3.5. And lastly in here, what is in the box? Alright, so the plastic ring is fallen off of this. This is the nameplate ring. I should glue it back on, but I don't really care because even though this is a ProMaster Spectrum 7 28mm prime lens, f what? 2.8. The reviews for this thing were pretty good, and I thought I would get a sharp lens out of it, and it turned out to be not very good. Just like the so you can tell this is the box of stuff that I don't use these lenses, right? It was just disappointing. So again, maybe if I worked with it a little more, I think I tried using it a few months ago when I had, you know, a little more knowledge, right, about exposure, and I don't know. I can't recommend it. It has a beautiful box that it came in. The design of the packaging was really great, but that still doesn't make up for a lens that just doesn't really work as far as I'm concerned. So that's a quick, I guess, conclusion there. That's what we got in the box. Those are the boxes that I have, with the exception of the 2 containers that I use, these tubs to carry the cameras around that I'm using, which have things in them like a polarizing filter, and for the Canon, let's do this. Yeah, let me show you these 2 goodies. So this is, we'll round out with this. This is a third-party DBK Electronics, Chinese manufactured, third-party auto shutter release, I guess, for the Canon that I've got, and it is great. It lets you program timed exposures, repeat exposures, you know, where you do the click. I can't remember the phrase for that right now. What you do with star photography, and that where you want to make the rings, right, of them going around in the night sky. That thing is really great, and those tools like that, like for the Sony I have a remote, and I actually have a remote for the Canon too, but I prefer that wired remote. It seems to work better than the infrared, and you don't have to get around in front of it and that where the sensor is. So little things like that are really, really helpful when you're trying to take stable, clear shots, okay? All this stuff, the head of the tripod itself, a shutter release like that that's manual, all very useful in making sure you're getting the clearest, sharpest shot that you can. And I want to round out with this thing. It's a little Orion flashlight. It's a red LED flashlight. And I guess I could signal the Navy with it or something. But the reason it's red is because I do night photography. I do a lot of long exposure night photography out in the yard, at cities, stuff like that, where I'm collecting a lot of light over a long period and that. And I don't want to lose my night vision when I'm mucking around going, well, what's the setting for this and that, right? It's really important to know your camera, but sometimes you want it to do something that you can't remember where the setting is, particularly on this thing. The settings are often buried in a menu. The Canon's a lot better for having a button for that, but even then I'm not sure necessarily where it is. So having this and being able to turn it on for 2 seconds is really, really important. Plus, when Orion shipped this to me, they sent me extra batteries. Thank you, because that's a pain in the butt to have to go get extra batteries. I really appreciate that. So thank you very much, Orion. Highly recommend that little flashlight. All right, thanks for joining me in this series. If you haven't checked out the other videos, please do. I'm sure that you'll have a lot of fun in your photo journey and learn a lot from my experience here about what to buy, what not to buy, what to check for, and that I've tried to cover all those details in these videos, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.